Hello, we meet again in the News Broadcast Daily and following today's top stories.
Cabinet members meet in Hanoi to review socio-economic performance in the past 10 months. Court officials from border localities of Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia discuss ways to intensify cooperation in combating transnational crime. Hoi An ancient tower in the central province of Quảng Nam has been named in the top 10 Asian leading tourism cities.
Cabinet members met in their regular monthly sessions in Hanoi on October 28th, reviewing the country's socio-economic performance in the past 10 months. Under the chair of Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng, they all asserted resolve to control inflation, to ensure macroeconomic stability and social welfare.
Prime Minister Dũng and his cabinet members agreed that the socio-economic situation in October and in the first 10 months of this year continues to see positive changes and be on the right track to achieve the set targets. The consumer price index in October increased by 0.85% against September, up 6.02% compared to December last year and 7% over the same period last year, much lower than the growth rates of previous months. However, the cabinet members noted that the macroeconomy is not really stable at all. They suggested proactive deployment of measures to make the macroeconomy grow stably as well as sustainably reduce poverty and reinforce the corruption fight. Concluding the meeting, Prime Minister Dũng said the targets of curbing inflation and stabilizing the macroeconomy need to be implemented drastically and synchronously so as to keep the inflation rate at 8% for the whole year. The State Bank of Vietnam is determined to restructure its banking system, being open and transparent in doing the work. Besides, the bank will continue taking measures to deal with bad debts effectively in a drastic and strict way, together with completing a master plan on bad debt settlement as soon as possible. It will also manage the gold market closely and implement related policies in a clear and transparent manner. Attention needs to continue for ensuring social welfare and combating corruption, he added.
Officials from Vietnam's delegation to international organizations in Geneva have worked with advisors of the Secretariat of the World Trade Organization on issues relating to agricultural, non-agricultural market negotiations and trade in services.
The head of Vietnam's delegation, Ambassador Nguyễn Trung Thành, expressed concerns over the deadlock of the Doha negotiations. He also raised questions about issues of Vietnam's interests in the context of WTO's efforts to build new principles for negotiation on the multilateral agreement on trade in service. For Vietnam, as a recent acceded member, it should clearly understand its position in the negotiations on agriculture, non-agricultural market access and trade in services, the advisors said. They also recommended that Vietnam should grasp our commitments on tax cuts in different tax lines. The Vietnamese officials paid close attention to a report by the Agriculture and Commodity Division, which said agriculture negotiations will focus on market opening, export subsidy and domestic subsidy. Regarding trade in services, the World Trade Organization advisors said, except for countries and groups well developed in services such as the US, the European Union, Japan and Singapore, few other members have responded to the issue.
200 leading Argentinian enterprises will visit Vietnam next week. They will look for opportunities for trade and investment partnerships, Argentinian ambassador to Vietnam Alberto Caminque has said.
Meeting with the press in Ho Chi Minh City, Ambassador Caminque revealed that the visit will be headed by the Foreign Trade Secretary, National Integration Secretary, Commerce Secretary and Under Secretary for Investment Development and Trade Promotion. Company representatives are scheduled to arrive in Ho Chi Minh City on October 28 and will meet Vietnamese partners on October 29th and 30th. Visiting businesses are involved in various industries, including food and beverages, automobiles, machinery and construction equipment, agriculture, garments and textiles, and pharmaceuticals. More than 380 Vietnamese businesses have registered to take part in business-to-business meetings during the delegation's visit. Two-way trade between the two countries rocketed within a decade, from around $13 million in 2001 to more than $1 billion in 2011.
Big American oil and gas companies have recently come to Vietnam seeking for new partners for production projects abroad. Their plans drew attention of a number of Vietnamese businesses.
At a recent seminar on oil and gas investment opportunities in the U.S. in Ho Chi Minh City, American firms made clear chances, conditions, and benefits for businesses when investing in the oil and gas industry in their country. They also updated Vietnamese investors with policies and mechanisms for foreign investors when doing business in the U.S., especially those related to profit, tax, and insurance. Coming to Vietnam reflects these U.S. oil and gas businesses' interest in local partners' financial potential. In November, a delegation of Vietnamese businesses will tour new projects in this field in the U.S.
The nation's industrial production increased 4.5% in the first 10 months of this year compared to the same period last year. However, it was about half of the growth rate in 2011, according to the General Statistics Office.
The figure also presented a slight slowdown from the 4.7% growth recorded in the first 8 months of this year. The slowed growth rate was mainly due to low consumer demand, high inventories of unsold goods, and a reduction or temporary halt in production by some enterprises. The output fell 16.2% for motor vehicles, 9.9% for garments, and 7.1% for cement. However, some industrial products managed to achieve increases in production, such as batteries, surging 76.2%, and shipbuilding and components, 59.4%. Among specific industries, electrical generation and distribution grew by 12.8% during the 10th-month period, while crude oil production grew by 12.1%. The manufacturing and processing industries accounted for 70% of the total industrial production.
Vietnam's World Heritage Site Hội An Asian Town in the central province of Quảng Nam has been named in the top 10 Asian leading tourism cities by Condé Nast Traveler, a United States premier travel magazine.
The selection was based on the ratings of restaurant services, hotels, shopping quality, cultural sites, environment, and hospitality. The environment and hospitality of the people of Hội An received appreciation from rating participants. Hội An is an exceptionally well-preserved example of a traditional Asian trading port from the 15th to 19th century. It is an outstanding material manifestation of the fusion of cultures over time. The town was recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1999.
The chief judges of the People's Supreme Courts of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia have co-chaired a meeting with court officials from border localities looking to intensify cooperation in combating transnational crime.
The 3-day meeting, the second of its kind, is underway in Siem Reap, Cambodia from October 27. In his opening remark, Cambodian Chief Judge Div Mun Thi said the meeting demonstrates a new move to show the determination of the three countries' Supreme Courts in boosting both bilateral and multilateral cooperation in the fight against transnational crime. For his part, Chief Judge Trương Hòa Bình of Vietnam said the organized criminal gangs have expanded their operation beyond the national boundary in a more complicated way, involving implicit elements causing instability. He called for closer cooperation from national courts around the world in joint efforts to deal with the crime. delegates will discuss a report on cooperation between the core sectors of Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia and witness the signing of a joint statement. The first meeting took place in coastal Nha Trang City, Vietnam in December 2010.
A General Council meeting of the World Trade Organization agreed to admit Laos to the organization at its sessions on October 26th. The Southeast Asian country will become a full member after its government ratifies the membership package.
Laos Minister of Trade and Industry and Chief Negotiator Nam Viaket said he is confident the Laos National Assembly will ratify the membership in December this year. Laos initially applied for entry to the World Trade Organization in 1997. Joining the WTO will commit Laos to a certain level of market access in goods and services. In return, the country has committed to maximum tariffs averaging 18.8% on all products, 19.3% for agricultural products, and 18.7% for the rest. In the services sector, Laos has made market access commitments in 10 sectors and 79 subsectors. These commitments will bring the country's markets in line with WTO international standards and create greater transparency.
And that is the end of our news today. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.